Hi, it's Vanessa Ugeti here, and today I'm going to tell you a big lesson that I learned recently about listening to my intuition. Now, this is not something that we were taught about in school, which is probably why I'm still learning the lesson at my age. Now, I've always been very intuitive for many, many years. However, I haven't always listened to it, and there's lots of reasons for that. So I was planning or had been planning on meeting a friend for months actually, but it was only in about 2 days before we were due to meet that we were making the final arrangements of where we were going to meet. Now she's based in London and I'm down in Poole in Dorset. So we'd agreed we'd meet in Basingstoke. I know, it's not very sexy, is it? But that was about the halfway point. Now, she said she wouldn't have access to a car, so she was going to be coming by train. And I said, well, that's fine. I'll drive and I'll meet you at the station. Now, Basingstoke's only an hour and a quarter down the road, so what on earth could go wrong? And so the day before, what I must tell you was, on that day before we were going to, or 2 days before we were going to meet, I was having a bad vibe about it. Now, it really isn't because I didn't want to meet her, because I absolutely love her to bits. I just couldn't explain that to myself or anybody else for that matter. Now, the day before we were due to meet, she texted me to say she'd bought her rail ticket. On the morning we were due to meet, it was the last Saturday in June, and it was the hottest day of the year so far. And I was having a really bad vibe about it. Now, as I've already said, Basingstoke's only an hour and a quarter down the road, so it's no sweat at all. So I decided I'd leave with about half an hour extra, just in case there was a lot of traffic on the roads, for example. So I got in the car and I was going along and everything was hunky-dory. In fact, the traffic was really, really light. And then I hit the M27. And there was a sign saying, junctions 3 to 4 will be closed. Oh my God. I needed to get off at junction 4 to go on the M3 to get to Basingstoke. So when I hit that, there was a lot of traffic on a very big roundabout. And the signs for how to get to where I wanted to go were non-existent, so I was clueless. So I found myself going round this roundabout and coming back to the same point again. And I could feel my temperature rising to meet the temperature outside and me getting quite stressed. And I really hadn't got a clue about where to go. And I pulled into the hard shoulder, and because I knew my friend would be on the train, I rang her and she answered. And I went into complete and utter meltdown. I haven't got a clue where I'm going, I don't know what to do. I was panicking. And she said to me, Vanessa, go home. And I said, no, I'm not going home, I'm going to get there. So I got back on the road and I got onto this road and it was just chock-a-block with traffic. And I hadn't even got the clue whether I was on the right road anyway. So don't ever invite me to give you directions to go anywhere because it really isn't my strength. And while I was in that traffic jam, she texted me again and said, Vanessa, go home. And I was in such a stress state, I thought, yes, I'm never going to get there on time anyway. I might just as well turn round and go home. So I turned round and I pulled into the hard shoulder again on the other side. And of course, I hadn't really got a clue about how to get home either. So I was panicking again. And then I said, come on, Vanessa, pull yourself together. You're an intelligent person. Get onto your sat-nav. It must have a journey that avoids that block. And so I did find how to go around it using the sat-nav. So I got back in the car, went on my merry way, or wherry may, my merry way, and was calm within the next few minutes. I got back home and I discovered I'd done about 70 miles in 3 hours, so I didn't feel really very happy about that. But once I'd calmed myself completely down, I thought I'd better give my friend a ring to apologise for the fact that I'd lost the plot. So I called her up and she is such an amazing person and a lovely open person. And I said, look, I just want to let you know that when we had that conversation 2 days ago, I was having a bad vibe. But then by the time the Friday came and you'd bought your railway ticket, I just didn't feel I could say to you, let's cancel, because convention says you just don't do that. And she said, Vanessa, I have to tell you, I was feeling a bad vibe too. But of course, she didn't want to say to me, let's cancel, because she knew I'd be disappointed. So we decided that we'd had a joint lesson in the importance of understanding why you must listen to your intuition, because it is there to look after you, to guide you, to help you, to steer you in the right direction, or move you away from things that are just not going to work for you. And we've made a decision that we are always going to follow our intuition, regardless of what another part of ourselves says, because the conditioning is very strong and it's going to jump in and try and override the intuition. And I'm sure that I'll make mistakes again at some point, but for now, I'm very, very focused on listening to that part of me that knows much more than I do, and certainly more than conditioning or convention does. Now, I cannot explain it better than that. I cannot tell you what it really is. It is not logic. It is something, it's a power that we all have. And it's a question of using it to strengthen that power. So every time you listen to your intuition and you notice that it's right, you can also say thank you to it, because that will bring more intuition to the fore of your mind. Now, I hope you found this helpful and maybe even unusual. And if you did and you'd like to have a chat with me about it, please just get in touch. I'd be happy to schedule a call with you. So that's Vanessa Ugatti saying bye for now.